Welcome to the All Talk Conference. I'm Aaron Payne, and this is Dustin Purcell. And we got Tyler up here. He's looking cool. Tyler, show yourself real quick with your hat and all. I just want everybody to know his wonderful hat. Today, though, we're going to talk about the Big 12 and the Pac 12. It's going to be a lot of fun. Both conferences are terrible. We can all agree to that, but we still like the drama. We like to hear what's going on. So we did something different this week, and I'm actually excited about it, and we're doing a segment where we talk about what do the fans think. Aren't you excited to hear about what the fans
I'm ready.
think?
We have not watched these yet, so guys, we're excited to hear what you have to say. I'm really curious. So
Yeah. So what we're going to do to start the show today is we're going to talk about the Big 12 first, and then after we're done with the Big 12, we're going to talk about the Pac 12. So right now, Tyler's going to pull us up one of the videos that was sent to us. This is me and Dustin's first time watching it too. So we're going to talk about it. Talk about what you think. So let's see what we got here. Who's our first person, Tyler?
We're gonna go with
Uncle Freddie.
Freddie's gonna be first. All right, here we go.
Okay, All Talk Conference. Here's my small 12 picks. First of all, I want to give you my impression of the coach of Texas on the sideline calling plays. Yes, sir. Can someone pass me the scotch? Can someone pass me my play sheet? Yeah, okay. Texas 6-6. Then you got Oklahoma with a new coach, Venables, defensive coach. They've lost quite a few players. I predict Oklahoma 8-4. My two picks for the Week 12, the small 12, whatever you want to call it, are the same from last year. It's going to be Oklahoma State and Baylor. And I have in-laws in Oklahoma. I've been to Bedlam literally 6 times. And those poor OSU fans are like Georgia fans the last 40 years. I'm not lying. These poor guys, they have been through the mill. This breaks my heart to say it. But they're going to go through the mill again. They're going to go 10-2. They're going to lose to Baylor in the championship game again. Baylor's going to go 11-1, and they're going to be in the playoff. Boom. There you got it. All you Big 12 people who spent Texas? Jordan, I'm calling you out, bro. Texas? They're coming to the SEC. You're not gonna see a playoff in 40 years. You're gonna be like Georgia was the last 40 years. Mac Brown ain't coming back, neither's Colt McCoy, and definitely not Vince Young. Pac-12, Baylor. They beat OSU in the championship game. It's probably going to end up like it was last year, where OSU can't get it in the end zone on 15 plays or whatever it is. Anyway, that's my pick. Baylor for the Pac-12 or the Big 12.
That was great, man. Just fresh called out Jordan. Jordan, I'm sure you got something to say about that. I'd love to hear it in the comments, man. But so he took Baylor.
yeah, that's not a bad pick. I had Baylor, and I've changed some things. We'll get into my picks later. I still want to hear everyone else's.
Well, we can talk. Let's talk a little bit about Baylor, and then
Okay.
we'll transition to someone else since we brought him up.
So I spend a lot of time looking at things like this. I love Baylor. I think they could win the Big 12 this year. However,
They will win the Big 12.
I'm taking Oklahoma. I'm taking Oklahoma, and I know everyone's going to give me crap
So
for
where
this.
do you have Baylor going? That's kind of
Baylor, I've got going 10-2. I got them losing to Oklahoma, and I've also got them losing to Texas. And the big thing about the Baylor, they did lead the Big 12 in rushing yards per game. It was 219 yards a game. They still got both their running backs, and they do go play at Oklahoma this year. And Baylor's only had one win in Oklahoma's history there. That's what I went off of. I know it's a small.
So I'm with you. I'm not with you on that. I think they're going to lose at Oklahoma, but I do think Baylor goes 11-1 and advances to the conference title. And my reason being is they returned 7 offensive players, 7 defensive players, 14. That's among the most in the Big 12 besides Kansas. And this ain't basketball, so Kansas can just call it a day. They're going 3-9, 2-10, 0-12. Who cares?
My pick against Baylor isn't more so of what we know Baylor is. I know Baylor's a good team. I know they're great. It's more so.
It's just the name on the jersey. That's what it is.
It's more so what I've learned. And no, it's not because it's a name.
It's the brand.
It's not the brand.
If you put the Baylor team in the Oklahoma jerseys, you'd be all about them. You'd say, man, they're going to win the national championship.
There's way more to it, and we'll get into Oklahoma later. And I will talk more unless you want me to talk now.
No. We'll go in. I'm still on Baylor.
Okay.
Last year, they were just the most complete team in the Big 12. We noticed
Right.
in total offense, they finished number 53 in the country, number 5 in the Big 12, which isn't that great. But then scoring offense, number 40 in the country, number 3 in the Big 12. But then defensively, total defense, number 31 in the country, scoring defense, number 10 in the country. They were among the top 5 in the Big 12 and everything, which nobody even matched that. And Dave Aranda is a young coach. They're going to be fired up. I don't think they have any competition. I think that they lose that game to Oklahoma. And the only reason I put them losing there is at Oklahoma, and I think it's hard to go undefeated.
It is. And the thing with Baylor is like they're so well rounded. They're a good team from top to bottom with every position they have. They can run and pound the ball. They can control the clock. They can do multiple things, and they can take shots in the end zone. They're a good team all the way around. My thing was when I started looking into Oklahoma stuff, I really got to where I saw what the new offensive coordinator, because that was my concern with Oklahoma. Oklahoma's offense was atrocious. Their defense was atrocious. But we got Venables. Everyone knows Venables is a defensive-minded coach. I think Oklahoma gets their defense on track. And then I'm looking at the offensive coordinator, and I'm looking at Jeff Lebby. So Jeff Lebby, for those of you who don't know, was the Ole Miss offensive coordinator. So he's had a year under Lane Kiffin. He's going to come in there. And Jeff Lebby led the nation in total offense.
Yeah.
So that's
it's just, and that name on their jersey has a lot to do with it.
It has nothing to do with it. That's
they
really
have
is.
5 offensive players coming back, 4 defensive players, but they're going to win the national championship. We might as well just quit the show right now.
They got 13 transfer players in. And you still got Dylan Gabriel from USC.
He's good.
He's good. He had 8,000 yards, 70 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions over 3 seasons. They're also stacked at wide receiver, and they got a great freshman wide receiver coming in who's 6'5", Jaden Gibson. I'm sure if any of y'all follow recruiting closely, that was a big name that was taken off. So I've just got Oklahoma, one great defensive mind, one great offensive mind. I think they're going to be a balanced team. I think they upset Baylor this year, and that's what
it won't be an upset. They're ranked higher, but Venables, it's his first year. Dude, they're having a lot of problems at Oklahoma right now. Even Venables came on today and talked about how Lincoln Riley pretty much left him a crap show. So I don't think he's that confident in what's happening there. I do have Oklahoma going 10-2. I think that's being generous. That at Nebraska game, I could see them losing, but I have them losing to Kansas State and losing to Texas. So that's what I'm kind of at with Oklahoma. But I'd love to hear more about what the fans think. Let's pull up another one of these videos and hear what our fans think.
All right, let's see here.
Who we got next?
Hey guys, this is
we got
Joshua.
Josh on this one here.
All right.
Hey guys, this is Joshua here, and I just wanted to submit my picks for the Big 12. Good luck to anyone picking the Big 12 this year because it's wide open. I feel like there's 6 teams that legitimately have a shot to win the Big 12 this year. You got Baylor, Texas, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and Kansas State. I'm just going to talk about the 2 teams I picked to keep this video short. First team I have going to the Big 12 championship is defending Big 12 champion Baylor. Love what Dave Aranda's building there. You got linebacker Dylan Doyle returning, nose tackle Siaka Ika. When your name's Siaka Ika, you know you're a bad dude. The offense showed huge improvements last year under offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes. I think they're going to be even better this year under quarterback Blake Shapen. So I have Baylor going to the Big 12 championship. Second team is Oklahoma with Brent Venables coming in. With Venables, he's going to have a good defense. We don't know yet if he's Will Muschamp or if he's Kirby Smart. Time will tell on that. But you got UCF quarterback Dylan Gabriel coming in. He's going to be reunited with his offensive coordinator Jeff Lebby there. So I think that's going to be a smooth transition. So I got Oklahoma going to the Big 12 championship, and I have Baylor over Oklahoma defending as Big 12 champion. So thanks for listening to my picks, and love to hear what you guys think.
Look at that. Another Baylor guy. I like it.
But he had Oklahoma going to the championship. That's what I'm saying.
I have Oklahoma going 10-2, so I'm not down on him.
Yeah.
He picked Baylor, so let's go on. Let's go to the next one whenever Tyler can get one up. That way we can talk about, see if someone else has another thought. But yeah, I think there is some excitement about Oklahoma, and I get that. But I just don't see why you think they'll beat Baylor.
I just do. I just think they're going to be really balanced this year. I think they're good offensive line, a good defensive line. I think it's just going to be loaded. I think they're going to be great. I know they lost a lot, but they're getting a lot. So, anyway, let's see.
All right, let's check out this next.
So we got Brandon here with his picks.
I want to give opinion on who's going to win the Big 12. I really think K-State can. We got the potential to. We got a lot of starters coming back. We got 6 preseason All-Americans in the Big 12. I think we have a solid football team, good head coach, a new offensive coordinator, and that should help because our offense was pretty trash last year. I hate to say it, but we had a good running back, but the play calling was just awful. And we finished like 80th in the country. I can't remember the stats, but I think if we can just have a better offense year, I think we have a great chance to win the Big 12. All our games were close. I think the worst we lost by was like 14 points against, it was Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was solid last year. Everybody knows that. And we competed against Baylor and only lost by 10. I think we can win the Big 12. It's going to be a fun year to watch in Big 12, but it's not going to be as tough either. So I pick K-State.
Brandon Burns, come on, bro. Such a biased pick. You went 8-5 last year. You lost by 14 to Oklahoma State and 10 to Baylor. That's double digits, dude. You weren't even in the game. Kansas State, this is a joke, man. I love you. You're an awesome dude, but come on. Let's give an honest pick. There's no way you actually think Kansas State is going to win the Big 12 this year.
Kansas State, when I looked at their schedule and everything like that, they have a few favorable. They got some bad away games this year. It's going to be tough. They do get Texas at home, and they got to go all the way out to West Virginia. Most of their games. It's what do I got them going this year? I've got them going
8-4. 8-4 is what I got them going. If you have them any better than that, then I don't know what you're thinking.
I got them going 7-5.
See,
so
worse.
Right,
That's what. Honestly, they could go 5-7.
I think 8-4 is probably the best case scenario, and probably 6-6 is the worst case scenario for them. They're right in the middle of the Big 12, in my opinion.
But dude, Adrian Martinez is there. Remember?
Oh yeah.
He won so many games at Nebraska. They can't even make a flipping bowl game, but all of a sudden he's turning Kansas State into a Big 12
Did they bring
champion.
Scott Frost
Come on,
in?
Brandon Burns. You know better than that. Kansas State, I got going 8-4. I don't think they're going to be a bad team, but I have them losing to Texas Tech, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Baylor. I do have them upset in Oklahoma, though. I think they're going to get a big upset right there, but honestly, 8-4. I think that's being nice, though.
Yeah. I really don't have them upsetting, really. I do have them upset Texas. No, I do not. Hold on. I have them upsetting, Oklahoma State this year. So that's the one I gave them. I figured they were going to beat one of those 3-4 teams between Oklahoma, Baylor, Oklahoma State, and Texas. So I give them one. But anyway, it's pretty much they're going to have the same records they did last year, because last year they were 8-5, so 8-4, 7-5. I think that's where they finish.
Well, yeah, and it's just like last year, total offense. Number 95 in the country. Scoring offense, number 76 in the country. And then you got Adrian Martinez. Look, next person, Tyler. Come on, let's get a real pick.
All right, here we go.
Who do I think is going to win the Big 12? It's going to be a close race. I want to say Texas because I think that, we have a chance, but I don't think we are ready yet. So after the first couple games, I'll make another evaluation. But as of now, who do I think is going to win the Big 12? It's going to come down between Baylor and Oklahoma. And this is how close it's going to be. Heads is Baylor, tails is OU. Heads. Baylor wins the Big 12.
This dude has Bro, I knew you were an Oklahoma fan. You got him. This whole time, Tyler said, this guy's an Oklahoma fan, but you keep posting Texas, Texas, Texas. But your picks show you're an Oklahoma fan. Come on.
Jordan, I don't know what to say, man. Good pick, though, Baylor. I'm with you guys on Baylor. But like I said, I'm sticking with Oklahoma. I feel good about it. You want to cover the rest of the conference?
Yeah, we'll go into different things. One team that I really want to talk about, we're just going to preface this. Like Iowa State, TCU, West Virginia, Texas Tech, all of those teams I don't think are bad teams. I think that they could upset any of the top teams on any given night. So we're not giving them – it's not like we're giving them credit. I got all of them pretty much going 6-6 though. I have TCU at 6-6, Texas Tech at 6-6, West Virginia at 6-6, Iowa State at 6-6, and then Kansas at 3-9 or 2-10. But I guess what we're saying is I just think they're just going to beat each other up. So we're not going to spend much time because I don't think any of those teams have a shot at winning the conference.
I do want to throw out a few things though. First thing I'm going to throw out, I'm going to talk about Texas real quick. All right, so Texas has got all the talent in the world.
What about these other teams? You skipped to Texas. What about these? What are you thinking on these lower half?
I can go on the lower half if you want me to first. So, West Virginia, let's start there. All right, so you got Graham Harrell as your new offensive coordinator, right? And you got JT Daniels. We're all familiar with JT Daniels. The dude is allergic to grass. Can he stay healthy? That's the big question mark. If JT Daniels stays healthy, West Virginia makes a good run. I'm saying he doesn't go he doesn't finish the season healthy.
What's a good run to you though?
I think for West Virginia, 9-3, 8-4. That's bold though.
6-6.
I've got him going 6-6 this year, I think I got him going 7-5. No, I actually got him 5-7. I have them losing to Pitt, Texas, Iowa State, Kansas State, Virginia Tech, Baylor, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State this year.
And then so just pretty much like we really don't need to get into it. What do you have TCU going?
I've got TCU going 6-6.
What about? So I'm agreeing 6-6. What about Iowa State?
Iowa State I got going 5-7, but I don't feel good about that. I really don't because here's the thing: Iowa State's not an awful team. They were a pretty decent team last year. I just think that you're just going to have these four teams right here: Oklahoma, Baylor, Oklahoma State, and Texas. And then you're just going to have this lower half of the section.
Yeah.
And they're just going to beat up on each other. And that's just when I was doing my picks. They came out 5-7. Then after that, I've got we've already talked about Kansas State, Texas Tech. I got going 6-6, and then I've got Kansas going 2-10.
So I want to ask just the fans because we kind of all agree it's just going to be a big mix-up between 5 and 9 in the conference. Mm-hmm. So I want to hear what team do you all think out of those teams, as talking about West Virginia, TCU, Texas Tech, Iowa State, and even Kansas State we'll throw in there. What of those 5 teams do you think could possibly win the conference? You know, who could shock us all? I just want to hear y'all's thoughts on that. I don't think any of them will, but that leads us to the top. We're going to go to the top now, and we've already talked about I think Baylor's going to win. I think Baylor's going to make it to the conference championship. A team we hadn't talked about, though, at all is Oklahoma State. Okay. So last year they went to the Big 12 championship, but kind of my thoughts on them is I got them going 9-3 this year. They are returning 12 starters, 7 on offense, 5 on defense. They were very productive last year. They're returning their quarterback. I got them losing at Baylor. I got them losing to Texas and at Oklahoma. I think they're going to have a great season, but honestly, I just think they take a step back. And I've seen a good sample size of Gundy, and he just hasn't strung together consistent great seasons. So I think 9-3.
The only thing consistent about Mike Gundy is he hasn't had a losing season in 16 years. So that's something to throw out there. Yeah, and they're returning a lot. Their offensive line is going to be really good this year. They're returning a lot. Spencer Sanders, he had 2,839 passing yards, 668 rushing yards, 26 touchdowns, and he had a 62.4% completion rating. We got Derek Mason as the new defensive coordinator. I don't know if you remember him from Vanderbilt. So,
oh yeah, Clark Leah. Why is Clark Leah's Vanderbilt's coach? Bring back Derek Mason.
So, and then Oklahoma State too. Their defense was first in the nation in sacks.
But they lost 7 players on 6 players on defense. Yeah. That's kind of my thing. They don't return a lot. That's why I'm concerned because their defense carried them last year.
I don't know if it's going to be as big of a deal for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma is just a big question mark right now. Like you said, he seems Venable seems, I don't know, I'm not confused, but overwhelmed. We don't know what Texas is going to be. We assume that Baylor is going to be Baylor, but I think the gap between Baylor and Oklahoma State isn't that far. between those two.
I don't think the three teams, Oklahoma, Baylor, and Oklahoma State.
I would say that if Lincoln Riley was still at Oklahoma, we knew what to expect out of it. I don't know what to expect out of Brent Venables as a head coach.
His first year as a head
Yeah,
coach.
I have no idea what to expect.
He could kill it, and he could be awful. I could be totally wrong, and I'll eat my words if Oklahoma turns out having 4 losses this year, like Freddie said. And didn't Freddie say 4 losses?
He said 8-4. Yeah, I had him going 8-4 at first too, but I did look deeper into them, and that's why I bumped them up to 10-2. I did. There's some interesting comments I like. Joshua Sweat said K-State could be that sleeper team. Iowa State. Those are all. I mean, I agree. I think Kansas State would be my pick for a sleeper team.
I'll take West Virginia just because of JT Daniels. We know what he can bring to the table, but I just don't think he stays healthy. I think if he stays healthy, I think they run, pretty far. They got some little pieces to fix around their offensive line, but other than that, I think they can make it happen.
Yeah. So just keep on with the comments. We'd love to hear more of why you think those teams are good. But with Oklahoma State, I think we're all in agreement. They're going to be good.
They're going to be good.
What do you have them going? 9-3?
The Big 12. See, in the Big, I got them going. 9-3.
So we both agree they're going 9-3. I could see them going 10-2. I don't have them. I will say I don't have them playing for the conference title. I don't have Oklahoma playing for the conference title. The last team we need to talk about is Texas. Texas forever, baby.
And just so y'all know, if y'all are looking at, this isn't a Pittsburgh jersey or anything like that. I don't know if y'all have ever watched Friday Night Lights. Tim
Riggins, boy.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. So anyway.
I mean, Texas, it's like they need Tim Riggins and Matt Sayerson out there so they can actually do something this year. But I mean,
wheel out Jason Street.
Yeah, wheel out Jason, man. But, I mean, he was a star before he got injured.
I know. Great show if y'all haven't watched it. But anyway,
Texas forever. But Longhorn down. So what are you thinking about Texas this year?
There's a lot of things. So the transfer quarterback from Ohio State, Quinn Ewers. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I think it's Ewers. What is it, Tyler?
Ewers.
What's up?
The Quinn Ewers
Is it Ewers?
It's
Quinn
spelled
Ewers?
Ewers.
I couldn't tell you.
So anyway,
it doesn't matter. You know who we're talking about.
We're talking about Harley Quinn here. Harley Quinn from Ohio State. So expectations are high. Can he deliver those expectations? I think he can. I think he's good. I've seen some film on him, and he looks fantastic. The thing that Texas struggled with last year was that they started off fast, with the exception of Arkansas. They got manhandled in that game. That game was awful.
Arkansas was just better, though.
Arkansas
that's all
is a
there
good
was
team.
to it.
But so Texas would start off fast, and then it's like they get it in the second half, and I don't know if Sark just took a bunch of drinks and gave them all to his players or something like that. I don't know if he's still in the program or what, but like the second half, nothing happened. They just fell completely flat.
They did have a lot of injuries. I will say that.
Robertson, can he stay healthy? Because that was a big injury last year. Dude will probably be in the Heisman running come at the end of the year. I think he's that good. We'll see what happens with him. They've got the most talent in the Big 12, in my opinion. They've got all the recruits. They've done really great recruiting.
They ain't got the most talent. Come on.
But
Oklahoma has the most talent.
I just think Texas' problem, I'm not a believer in Sark. I'm just not.
Why? Because he had a bad year with the Falcons, or because he drinks too much? Because I mean, his record.
He seemed to do better when he was drinking. When he's sober, he's just not that good. I mean, Tyler, we all have a bad relationship with Sark when he played for the Falcons. What do you think on Sark?
I don't know, man. You can give him all the recruits you want. I don't know if I have faith in him as a head coach. Much less.
See, I do.
That's fine.
I'm for Sark. I think he's going to be a good coach. I got Texas going 9-3.
I've got Texas going 9-3 just because of their talent, and I'm going to give Sark the benefit of the doubt and give him this year. Sark, prove me wrong. Tell me you're a good head coach.
But more than that, I got Texas going 9-3, but I also have Texas going to the Big 12 championship. I think Texas is going to receive a butt whooping from Alabama early in the year. Then the UTSA Roadrunners are going to upset the Texas Longhorns.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, UTSA went 12-2 last year. They returned 9 starters on offense. UTSA beats Texas.
Y'all heard this.
Mark my words. Texas loses to UTSA. Texas, San Antonio, if you don't know who the Roadrunners are, go look them up. They're a good football team. And I think that coming off a bad loss to Alabama, expectations are going to kind of be squashed. UTSA does it. But then I have them turning it around against Texas Tech. And pretty much I have them upsetting Oklahoma. I just think it's the year they're going to beat Oklahoma. They should have beat them last year. They were up 21 points and then blew it. It was horrible. Then after that, their season spiraled, but I think they keep the momentum, and then they lose to Baylor in the final game of the season. So they only have one Big 12 loss, and I have Oklahoma having two Big 12 losses. So therefore, Texas is advancing to play Baylor in the Big 12 championship game, and that's just kind of what I think about Texas.
I've got Texas going 9-3. I also have them going to the Big 12 championship. And I'm sorry, it wasn't that they were beating Oklahoma, upsetting Oklahoma. They're going to lose to Oklahoma. And I've got them losing to Bama and also Texas Tech. I just think they just choke one. Texas Tech. Don't really have much faith in that. But Texas Tech, they can turn out.
Wait. So you have Texas versus Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. No Baylor.
No Baylor.
That's so much disrespect to the returning Big 12 champion. Like, that's crazy to me. That returns the most starters. It's because of the name on their jersey.
It's because I see that Texas is going to upset Baylor this year. I just have a thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
I think Texas is 2 years away from being a contender in anything. But
here's
it's not this year. It's not next year. It's the year after.
I'm with you, Tyler. I think they're going to end up going 9-5. I think they're going to lose. I think
9-3?
Baylor. No. I think they're going to go 9-3. Then they're going to lose the Big 12 championship to Baylor. I think Baylor will beat them at the end of the season, then beat them again. I just think Baylor is too physical. They're going to shut down that offense. Then I think they're going to lose a bowl game. So I got Texas finishing 9-5. Pretty much, I just think they're going to luck their way to the Big 12 championship simply because I think it's their year to upset Oklahoma. That's all there is to it.
So Jordan made a comment. He said he brought in Gary Patterson. Gary Patterson was the old TCU head coach. I did not know this. So is he the defensive coordinator, Jordan? Can you answer that for us? He also said if we get our defense playing, it's a wrap for everyone in the Big 12. I mean,
except for Baylor, brother. Baylor's defense is good.
They play defense over there?
Yeah. What was y'all's defense last year, Jordan? Well, let's look into that, man. Number 100 in total defense and number 99 in scoring defense. And Sark isn't a defensive guy. Gary Patterson, what was TCU? Wasn't he at TCU last year?
Gary Patterson? I think he's been off for 2 years.
No.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
They just hired Sonny Dykes. But let's go look at TCU since he's such a great defensive mind. He number 119 in total defense last year for TCU, and number 118 in scoring defense. If he's are we sure he's the defensive coordinator?
Special assistant to the head coach at the University of Texas.
Okay, that makes more sense because I was about to say that's a downgrade.
I'm trying to pull up his career.
I mean, he was a good coach. Don't get me wrong.
I like Gary Patterson.
When
we lost Mark Richt, I actually kind of wanted Gary Patterson. Everyone thought I was crazy for that, but I'm much happier with Kirby Smart. Anyways, let's wrap up the Big 12 because we need to get.
So you got Oklahoma beating Texas in the Big 12 championship. I do. Absurd. Hey, have y'all noticed it's the two biggest names that he could choose?
Well,
he's all about brand.
I'm not about brand, and that's why I'm like, let's get to the Pac-12 so you'll quit talking about brands and stuff like that because I do not have a brand.
Then I got Baylor. I got Baylor beating Texas, so I think Baylor is going to win and go 12-1. And like I said, Texas is going to end up just 9-5. But who you got, Tyler, before we move on to the Pac-12?
I just think Baylor's just going to run the table. I don't see much else, other option. I don't have any faith in Texas. I don't think Oklahoma is going to get it all together in time.
So 12-0?
Not 12-0. I'd like 11-1, most likely.
Okay.
And if I had to pick somebody outside of Baylor, probably Oklahoma State, just kind of shocking the world again. Being okay, but I like everybody else is in agreement. I think that conference is it's definitely not strong. It's open. Open to the point where everybody is trying to, find an identity outside of Baylor. But, how long does that last for Baylor before Oklahoma gets back to where they were and Texas decides it wants to play football?
Texas forever. But, let's move on to the Pac-12. I'd like to open up with a fan pick on this. We have some of the same fans that picked the Pac-12 too. I'd love to hear what they think. Who we got first, Tyler?
We're going to go look at Josh's first.
We got Joshua Sweat.
We'll switch over after this.
Hey guys, Joshua here for my Pac-12 predictions. This year, for the first time ever, the Pac-12 has taken the top two teams in the championship game. So the division alignment really doesn't mean anything. I think we have 3 teams that have a shot. We've got Utah, we've got Oregon, we have Southern California. The first team I have going is Utah. They've been a very consistent program under Kyle Whittingham since he took over in 2005 from Urban Meyer. Got quarterback Cameron Rising coming back, with running back Tavion Thomas. Got a solid group of tight ends coming back. I actually got Utah going undefeated in the regular season. I have them going up against Southern California. With Lincoln Riley coming in, they're going to have a good offense. He brought in Caleb Williams with them. He brought in wide receiver Jordan Addison from Pittsburgh. Completely flipped the roster with transfers on both sides of the ball. They got 4 offensive linemen returning. He brought over defensive coordinator Alex Grinch to help fix the defense. They have a pretty manageable schedule. USC going to the Pac-12 title game. I think they're a team that's going to get better and better every week. And I actually have USC upsetting Utah, ruining their perfect season, and winning the Pac-12 championship. So thanks, guys. Love to hear your thoughts on this, and thanks.
Hey, good picks, man. I agree with you. Could we pull another one over before we kind of discuss more? Yeah. Let's see what other fans think,
so
because
Eddie's got one, and I think that's the only other picks we have for the Pac-12.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Here, Josh, just for you, I'm wearing a Duke hat today, so yeah, that's who I root for in basketball. But I'm not about brand.
And Elizabeth, my wife, straight called him out. He'd pick Clemson or Oklahoma or Ohio State no matter what. They don't even have to have a team. It's all about the brand, man.
But we're talking about, I picked NC State to win the ACC
right.
this year.
I just want y'all to know I pretty much forced him to do that before we started the show last week because I was like, you're a brand guy. This week, Oklahoma, Texas. All right, let's watch this video.
Well, the All Talk Conference. The LAC 12 picks. Here they are, folks. First of all, Stinking Lincoln's going to go 8-4 at USC. He's not going to jump from 4-8 to 10-2 or 11-1 and win the national championship. Pete Carroll's not walking through the door. Reggie Bush isn't walking through the door. Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer, O.J. Simpson, Marcus Allen. They're not showing up this year for USC, 8-4. Then you got Oregon. Everybody in Georgia thinks Dan Lanning is the savior for Oregon. They're like picking him to win the Pac-12. Negative. Ty Winningham, awesome at Utah. He's definitely in the top 2. But my pick, by the way, Utah goes 10-2. But my pick to win the Pac-12, UCLA. Chip Kelly's finally going to bring it. We'll see what happens, all you people who think you know something. He's got something he's got the gun loaded. He's ready to roll. Oh, by the way, look at this beautiful picturesque site. This is Georgia, the most beautiful state in the country. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Waiting for the hummingbirds. Peace.
Did he just say UCLA?
Bro, I just want to know. He just showed me a picture of his porch and some trees and said, "Beautiful Georgia, boys." Like, what are you doing, Uncle Freddie? Come on, man. Like, that wasn't even a beautiful picture. I expected to see, like, the sunrise or
maybe
sunset
a nice
or something.
stream coming down, a waterfall.
But, dude, he picked Chip Kelly. Speaking of Chip Kelly and Steve Sarkisian seem like they could be best friends. Red-faced Chip Kelly, man. He has to, I can't believe he picked UCLA.
I can't either. But I have UCLA going 10-2. I mean, it's not that far off. When you look at the Pac-12, it's a lot. It's really similar to the Big 12. It's like you've got 4 teams, maybe 5 teams, and then everybody else, and it's just they're like 6-6, 5-7, 3-9, 4-8. I mean, it's just a lot of chaos there. And Josh said USC to win it.
Yeah. He's got USC. Freddie, I'm interested if you're listening. What do you have UCLA's record been? Because you haven't won in the conference, and you said Utah's going 10-2. So I'm just curious to what UCLA is going to do. But I got them going 9-3 too. I think UCLA is going to have a good team. Chip Kelly last year they had one of the best offenses in the Pac-12. They returned 6 of their starters. Their defense they don't return a whole lot. Yeah. But honestly, man, it's the Pac-12. To beat some of these teams like California, Stanford, that pays David Shaw $9 million a year to win 2 games a year, fire him, Stanford. It makes no sense.
In the last 3 seasons, he's been 11-18, David Shaw. Yeah, UCLA, I think they're going to do great this year. But the thing is, it's like they lost a lot. They did get a receiver from Duke.
From
That's
Duke?
Jake Bobo. I don't know.
He's going to be awesome, guys. He's from Duke. This ain't
Dude, they've had
basketball.
some good receivers. But it's Chip Kelly's 5th year. So, all right, you did it immediately at Oregon. Can we finally see what you're made of at UCLA? Can we finally see that old style Oregon run the ball, pass like crazy, up tempo offense?
Well, we saw it last year. They just didn't have a defense.
It just isn't the same to me, though. It wasn't like it was at Oregon.
Well, it's because they're not winning. That's the difference. They're not winning. Like their scoring offense
Maybe
last
yellow-
year was number 12 in the country.
Maybe yellow and green just looks faster to me. I don't know.
No, it's not that. I'm not saying that they had a better offense. Like obviously at Oregon he had great offenses, but I'm saying like when you have the number 12 scoring offense in the country, your offense is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
There's not much up you can go, and still last year they went 8-4. It wasn't a bad season. I think they do take a step up and go 9-3. I got them losing to Utah. I got them losing at Oregon, and I got them losing to USC. Other than that, I think they'll win. I think they're going to finish number 5 in the conference. But, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with them.
I got them going 4th in the conference, losing to USC and Utah this year. I mean, there's a lot you can say about UCLA, but like I said, 5th year, it's time. We need to see it happen, Chip Kelly. You got your starting quarterback coming back, and last year he had 2,409 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. They got a boost to their pass rush from 2 twins from North Texas that I've never heard of, but I started looking into them.
I'm sure they're great. They got a scholarship to North Texas.
North Texas. But last year
Can you tell me
combined...
someone relevant they got? You said North Texas and Duke.
They returned Bo Calvert. I mean, that's a good one.
No,
So,
I'm with you, though. They're going to be all right.
UCLA, their secondary's got to improve. If their secondary can improve this year, I see them possibly, maybe, running the table in the Pac-12. But their secondary's got to improve. I think they got all the other pieces there.
Maybe they got some guys from Kansas in their secondary to add.
I don't know. You want to look? Kansas
No.
State, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so UCLA, I've got them, going 10-2. But
I thought 10-2. You just said UCLA.
no, UCLA going 10-2.
Dadgum, son.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm 9-3, so we're close. But one thing I'll say is we're really not even going to go into these the bottom half of the conference. Man, Colorado 1-11.
Same.
Arizona 0-12. Where you got them going?
3-9.
Where you get 3 wins, I have no idea. That they're horrible. I mean, they had the worst everything last year in the country. It's unbelievable. They're terrible. They're going to go 0-12. They're out of conference games where San Diego State lost, Mississippi State lost, and North Dakota State lost.
How did they get that lineup? That's a tough lineup to start off.
Tough
the
for
year.
Arizona because they're bad.
I mean, for any.
For anyone, Georgia would straight whoop these 3 teams.
Well, given this,
I mean,
I'm
Utah
talking
would
about
whoop
anyone
these
in the
3 teams.
Pac-12 except for maybe the powerhouses of Oregon and Utah, UCLA, maybe them. But I mean, when you look at it, that is a very tough lineup starting off those first 3 games. I think they even have to go to San Diego State that first game.
Yeah. I mean,
Mississippi State's at home though, but that's not going to matter. Will Rogers is going to throw the ball all over Arizona.
Stanford, I got 3-9. David Shaw, it's your last year, bro. You're getting fired. It makes no sense.
What's
Last year they had the 114 in total defense and 106 in scoring defense, 113 in scoring offense, and 122 in total offense. How does he have a job, and how is he one of the highest paid coaches in football? Give me the job.
What's he making? Like 8?
It's
right now?
$8.9 million. Might as well be $9 million.
He's only got 4 returning starters this year, and he was last in Pac-12 in defense. They're not going to be good. I hate it. The days
He's got
of
10
Christian.
on offense, but
I mean, that's 4 returning starters on defense, I believe. I mean, but that's still crazy. They're not going to be good at all.
what do you got them? 2-10, 3-9.
I've got them going 2-10.
Dang, son. California, I got 3-9. Honestly, they just don't return enough. They have 3 on offense, 4 on defense.
5-7.
Then Washington, I have going 5-7.
5-7.
They just don't have much going on. And then Arizona State, I got them going 6-6.
It's a wreck there. I've got them going 4-8. Herm Edwards has just lost complete control over that program.
The Fighting Herms, dude. They'll be bowl eligible.
They lost so much in the transfer portal, and the only thing that I see was they got Emory Jones. I mean, their quarterback was amazing, and they lost him to LSU.
The turnover machine. That is
Emory Jones. The secondary had the good news is the secondary had the most picks last year in the Pac-12, but they're all gone. So I don't know what to say. They're not going to be good.
Yeah. So let's move to the Tyler. Did you have something?
Yeah, just in general, I don't know. I'm not impressed with a lot of these teams. I don't know if I would say they peaked last year, but I don't know if we'll see much better than we did last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Same.
The Pac-12 just in general doesn't impress me, but I mean, maybe they surprise me. I'm fine with that.
So let's kind of let's do Oregon real quick. Dan Lanning, Freddie mentioned that, and everyone thinks he's the savior. He was great at Georgia. Love the guy. But his first season there, they open up at Georgia. That's a definite L.
He's not going to have the talent he had at Georgia on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think. Then their defense wasn't good last year.
Yeah, number 72 in total defense and number 75 in scoring defense last year. They were horrible. I think they'll improve a little bit. I got them losing at Georgia. I got them losing to Utah, and I got them losing to Oregon State in the last game of the year.
And they also got Bo Nix probably starting at quarterback, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's going to be probably pretty bad. But hey, Bo Nix showed some promise sometimes, but then
at
other
home,
times
he couldn't win on the road.
Yeah, he could not win on the road. Here's the big thing about Oregon, and a lot of people don't realize this. Oregon's top pass catcher last year was running back Travis Dye. Do you know where Travis Dye is now? Anybody? No?
Not at Oregon.
USC, along with 12 other transfers.
Yep.
Yeah, Oregon's not going to be. Oregon's going to, they're going to finish, 9-3, 8-4, something like that.
What do you have them finishing?
I haven't finished at 9-3. Georgia losing to Georgia, UCLA, and Utah.
Yeah, and I here's the thing though. It's not like they're going to be bad. They are returning 14 starters, so that's one of the best in the Pac-12. And last year they were pretty good. Last year they went 10-4. So it's not. I think 9-3. Then they make a bowl game and go 10-3. I don't have them playing for the conference championship, but I think they're going to be right there in the mix. Yeah. So we already talked. I mean, yeah, I got them finishing 4th in the Pac-12. So
3rd for me. Yeah,
and then let's move on to the team that. Who do you want to talk about next? You want to talk about USC or Oregon State?
I'll let you hit on Oregon State. We can talk about Oregon State. They're one of those teams that are scrappy, and I don't know. Just doing some research on them, like they got their quarterback coming back, Chance Nolan. He had
6-year senior,
6-year senior, 2,677 yards, 19 touchdowns. He did have 10 picks. The defense was 4th in the nation, allowing 3rd downs. I mean, it doesn't look good. But you had some good positive feedback on Oregon State. So I want to hear that because, I mean, regardless, I've got Oregon State finishing 8-4 because I think they're more talented than everyone below them. But I'd like to hear what your thoughts on Oregon State.
I think the Beavers are going to shock the nation this year. I think they're going to be that team that no one expects and ends up being really good. It's almost, I don't know if anyone remembers, in 1999, Oregon State went 7-5, and then in 2000 they went 11-1, and they were like number 3 or number 4 in the country. They were very competitive. It was a huge turnaround, and I think Oregon State, after a 7-6 season last year, they lost some games that they should not have lost. I think they have a complete turnaround, and the schedule is very favorable.
All their tough games are at home, I believe.
Yeah, here's the thing. So I got Oregon State going 11-1 and playing for the conference championship. I know it's crazy. But I feel strongly about this. Their rushing attack is deadly. Last year, they were number 19 in the country in rushing. They have their 6th-year quarterback coming back. He's only going to be better than he was last year. The defense has 8 starters coming back from a defense that wasn't that good. I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But the defense will be much improved because almost all of them are coming back.
Well, the problem with Oregon State last year was they didn't have depth. They've got depth now.
Yeah, and I believe in their coach. They've improved steadily. They were like 2-10, and then they kept moving up, and And then last year they finally made a bowl game. And honestly, there was games on that schedule they should not have lost.
Yes.
So I have them up. First of all, Boise State at Fresno State and Montana State. I think they get wins there. Fresno State and Boise State won't be easy wins, but I think they pull it out.
Yeah.
Then it all starts for me is I have them upsetting USC at home. Ooh. The reason being is that Lincoln Riley traditionally struggles against teams that will get down there and knock you around. Teams that are going to slow the game down, run the ball, and play their game. So I think that's exactly what Oregon State's going to do. They're going to rush the ball. They're going to ground and pound. Lincoln Riley's going to be throwing off his game. It's early in his career there, so that team with so many transfers is still going to be meshing. And they really don't have a test. USC doesn't have a test before that, and it's hard to play at Oregon State. So I think Oregon State wins a tight game there, but then I do have them losing at Utah the next week. I just think Utah's that good. But other than that, they really don't play anybody. Like Stanford, David Shaw. Come on now. They ain't even close. They play at Stanford, but then they play Washington State at home, who I think is going to be a decent team. I got Washington State going 7-5.
I also have them going 7-5.
So I think they're going to finish right there in the Pac-12. Colorado at Washington. Washington sucks. California sucks. Arizona State sucks. Then that leaves them with Oregon. And I think they win the Civil War this year. They beat them a couple years ago at Oregon State.
I can see that. I really could.
I think so. So it might sound crazy, but Oregon State, mark my words, and I say it with confidence. They're going to the Pac-12 championship. They're going to be 11-1. I'm pumped about them. Call me crazy, but when it happens, I'm going to be a hero. That's all I'm saying.
Speechless. All right. Let's go on. That was a lot. I mean, I don't know what to think about that, Aaron. That's the first time I've heard that. I don't know what to think. I'm moving on because I can't stay on that subject any longer because I can't believe you said that.
Go Beavers, baby.
All right.
I might as well get an Oregon State shirt. I'm for them all year.
All right. So Oregon State, I have going 8-4, losing to Utah, USC, Washington State, and Oregon. Quickly, we'll move on to who I think is going to be in the Pac-12 championship. I've got USC going 11-1.
Yeah, let's do USC.
And they're losing to Utah this year. And I've got Utah above them going 12-0. So the USC is interesting this year. And I think they're going to be better than what some people think. There's so much hype around that program right now. I don't see them losing a game at home this year. I mean, heck, they've got me pumped about it just reading all this thing. They've got 13 transfers coming in, 7 on offense, 6 on defense. They got Travis Dye. They got Caleb Williams. They got Jordan Addison from Pittsburgh. Caleb Williams was the 4th best in QBR in the country last year. They also got Mario Williams, the great receiver from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much to look at here, and there's so much talent. I just don't see USC losing more than 2 games. I've got them going 11-1, but I don't see them losing more than 2 games. I just don't see how they can. And given Lincoln Riley's history, it's been shaky, but he knows how to put it offense.
Shaky? What do you mean? He's
Shaky.
been dominant.
As far as how you were saying how they start off the season last year when we were looking at him, it just wasn't look as dominant as it usually does. So there's a little bit of a question mark there. The other question mark with USC is their defense. They, like I said, they did return, or they're getting 7 transfers on defense. So we'll have to see how the defense plays out on USC. We know the offense is going to put up points. I'm saying at least 35 points a game.
Lincoln Riley traditionally is an offensive guy, and I'm not. I'm pretty high on USC. I think USC is a good football team, and I think that Lincoln Riley is a good coach, a good offensive coach. Which in today's game, an offensive coach can win you 10 games a year.
Yeah.
But they won't have the defense to get it done. They're, as I said earlier, Oregon State will slow down the game. So Oregon State beats them. Then I also got Utah beating them. I just think Utah's that good. So I do have them going 10-2 and finishing tied with 3rd in the conference with Oregon. So they don't play Oregon this year. So that's kind of a
that's
kind of a thing.
them.
But I would say USC's even better than Oregon. I like USC. I would point to say they're probably the 2nd best team in the conference outside of Utah. But when they play Oregon State early in the year at Oregon State, I think Oregon State gets the upset. So I'm going to say they're not going to go to the Pac-12 championship. I am excited. Caleb Williams will probably win the Heisman.
I'm very excited.
I'm just saying, Addison, he's good, man. Jordan Addison is good.
Dude, and let me reiterate the fact that Travis Dye was the leading catcher at Oregon last year, and he's the running back and now he's at USC. They're loaded. There's so much talent on that offense this year. I just don't see how they lose more than two games. But like, let's get into Utah. So I've got Utah winning the Pac-12. I've got them going 12-0 this year, and the reason why I have Utah going 12-0 is because I feel like they're just the most complete team.
Yeah.
Up front on both sides of the ball, they're dominant. They were great last year. They lost. They should have beat Ohio State last year. They lost to a last-second field goal. They were 8th in the nation on third downs. The line was 4th in the nation in pass protecting. They had 217 yards rushing a game. They're dangerous in receiving, and all but one of their receivers returned this year. They're going to be good. Cam Rising, I think he finished the country, 6th in the country in QBR last year with 2,493 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions.
And he didn't start the first four games.
I think he only played 6 games.
Yeah, he might have been the first 6 games.
Something like that. So, I mean, when you look at that, you look at how they matched up at the end of the year, how they played at the Pac-12 championship, and how they played against Ohio State. Was it the Rose Bowl? Was that right?
I think it was the Rose Bowl, yeah.
So that game was probably the most fun game I watched during the postseason.
Besides Georgia winning the national championship.
Besides that, one of the most. So when you look at that, Ohio State was a great offensive team, not so much a defensive team. I think Utah is just going to run the table. I've got Utah going in the playoff and entering 12-0.
So, 12-0. Mm-hmm. It's hard to go undefeated.
It's hard.
It takes a lot for me to pick a team to go undefeated. I normally pick a team to get upset somewhere just because I think even when you're good, we've seen it with Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State. Typically, there's a game that drops. I'm looking at Utah's schedule, and I'm not going to lie, guys. I worked hard today to find a loss on Utah's schedule. I couldn't find it. I think Utah goes 12-0. Last year, they finished in the top 3 in the Pac-12 in every category you could think. They finished top 40 in the country in every category you can think, and they're returning 8 offensive players of 11, and that offense was dynamic. The only place I could see them losing is that opener at Florida.
Okay.
I do think there is potential for an upset there for Florida to get Utah. Don't think it will happen. I think that Utah goes 12-0. They play Oregon State in a big game. Oregon State will be probably ranked 5 or 6 in the country because they'll be 11-1, and I think Utah pretty much beats up on them.
Yeah.
It'll be a slow game. I think Utah wins by a couple touchdowns. And Utah finishes 13-0, wins the Pac-12, and I do think they take their first bid into the college football playoff. So right now I have Alabama going and Utah going. The rest I hadn't said yet, but those are my 2 locks.
Yep. And let the record show Utah's not a brand name, so we'll move on from that.
But who do you have them playing in the
USC?
USC, yeah.
They're not a brand name anymore.
Yeah, they are. Come on, man. USC will always be a brand name. So,
absolutely. I'm joking about that. But, yeah, ever since Pete Carroll left, not too good. So, I'm excited about USC. I cannot wait to watch those games.
I'm excited about Utah, boys. I think Utah could do some damage in the playoffs, too. I'm going to leave it like that.
I don't think the Pac-12 contends in the playoffs. That's just me.
They could beat up on each other, and that's a fact too.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're all going to beat up on each other. Like as much as I could see Utah going undefeated, just as I could see them losing 4 to 5 games.
No way, 4 to 5.
4 to 5 games.
No way.
And I say that because I don't know what to expect from them on the road. They were a 500 team last year on the road. That you open up in the swamp. Granted, I don't have any faith in Florida, but you just never know.
But I mean, they started the year like 1-2, and
they start off slow every year.
Well, no, that's not true.
They did last year.
Last year is the only year that they've started off slow.
But then
because they had a quarterback issue, So he took over for a bad team, and then they started winning. And that one of those they went 10-4. One of those losses was to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Mm-hmm. So who won the Pac-12 last year?
Wasn't it Utah? Yeah, it was Utah. You said that like I knew the answer, but I'm questioning myself.
I was just pointing to the fact that I think Utah gets it done. But yeah, guys.
So out of the Pac-12 and the Big 12, you have two big changes in coaches. One being Dan Lanning in Oregon, first time head coaches. Dan Lanning, and then you have Venables. Who is going to have the better season as a head coach?
Venables.
Venables.
I think both. I got Oregon going 9-3 and Oklahoma going 10-2. Yeah, but I'm saying I don't think one's better than the other.
No, just as far as like where they finish, not necessarily just record, not just record, but in terms of where they are in the conference and in their respective conferences.
I got them both finishing third in their conferences, so I'd say Oklahoma will look stronger. Because I think Oregon's going to get embarrassed by Georgia, and I also think they're going to get embarrassed by Utah. But I think Oklahoma will be in good games. I have them losing 2 games. I think they'll be close games, though. So I'm going to say Oklahoma and Brent
I'm going to say Oklahoma as well. I think Oregon's going to struggle this first year.
I think the thing about Dan Lanning, I don't think Oregon really wanted Dan Lanning. They wanted someone else, but they just settled because it's so hard to find good coaches.
I don't know. I think they wanted him. I just think that just like any first time coaches found out, it is a lot more detail than just being a coach. Like the recruiting is gruesome. I mean, you hear of Kirby and everybody else talking about that. I don't know if Lanning is going to be just ready for that out of the gate. So I think his first year is going to be a bit of a struggle.
But could we not say that Oregon is bringing back a better team than Oklahoma? I mean, Oklahoma's only bringing – Lincoln Riley devastated that team. Yeah. I think I'm a little high on Oklahoma. They could lose 4 or 5 games. I mean, I'm being honest here. I think Oregon brings back more. I don't know that they'll outperform Oklahoma, though. I think – I'm with you on Dan Lanning. I'm not sure about him as a head coach.
I think he'll do fine. I think he's just going to take time. And I don't know if he's going to be as competitive as Oregon was last year as they will be this year. That being said, who is your Heisman pick in the Pac-12?
Caleb Williams.
Okay. And the Big
Spencer
12?
Rising, possibly.
Cam Rising.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know where I got that.
You're mixing Spencer Rattler and
Cam Rising. Yeah. Cam Rising, I think, will be... Could, but Caleb Williams.
Joshua,
Caleb Williams.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's bad at recruiting. I just think that the whole scope of being a head coach is lost on some people. I think that they get into parts of that, but being the whole package and dealing with the micro stuff on a daily basis is a lot. So nothing against Lanning. I think he'll do fine. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah.
What about in the Big 12? Who was our sneaky Heisman? If we had to take someone to win the Heisman in the Big 12.
Bijan Robinson. He's the best running back in the country by far.
Good chance of that.
Yeah. I mean,
if he stays healthy, he had some injuries last year, so let's see how that plays out.
The Big 12's a little harder, I feel like, to choose a Heisman finalist. I don't really know, honestly. Dylan Gabrielle could do it.
I could see that.
I mean, dude, he rocked it at UCF. But I don't know how Venables is going to be offensively. That's kind of my thing. I don't know what Oklahoma's offense will look like this year.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions kind of before we close it out, or any comments that we want to reply to?
I didn't see any other questions. I asked for some earlier, but didn't see too many. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to close with? Anything else that happened outside of these conferences?
Can we talk about the what about, can we pull up the AP Top 25 to close out and talk about the teams ranked in these conferences? And we're going to do a session. We're going to try to do this more, a session of higher or lower. What we think, were they too high or were they too low? We'll take a couple minutes to do that and then we'll close out. And I want y'all to comment what you think too. But we're just going to do the Big 12 and the Pac-12 teams ranked today. And then
that's fine. I'm good with that.
So it'll be, maybe 2.
So Cam Rising took over Game 4.
Yeah, I read that a second ago.
Yeah, so
I thought it was Game 4, but I wasn't sure.
Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame. That's correct?
Yeah, the AP poll that just came out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Where's the first Big 12 team? Or the first Pac-12 team? It doesn't matter.
Utah.
Where they at?
7.
Higher. I mean, Utah.
I put them in the top 4.
Dude, I can't put Notre Dame in the top 10 right now. I don't.
No, I can't either.
And I don't think there's enough there to convince me that they're going to be in the top. They have a tough schedule this year.
Utah higher though, definitely. What about who's next in the Big 12 or Pac-12?
They got Oklahoma.
After Utah, you go straight to Oklahoma as the Big 12.
Number 9?
Number 9 for Oklahoma, and then Baylor at 10.
Too high for Oklahoma. I think they need to be lower.
I mean
higher. Sorry, higher.
You kind of have the Pac-12 and the Big 12 running the table after 7. And it's like 7 through 14 is pretty deep into Pac-12, Big 12.
So what are your thoughts on number 9, Oklahoma?
I'm fine with both of those right there.
Baylor needs to be higher. They no respect. They need to be in the top 6 in my opinion. But that's just in Oklahoma. I'm at number 9. Why are they in front of Baylor? Going by last year and what they're returning, that makes no sense besides the name on their jersey.
I think Oregon's a little too high.
At 11, definitely.
Oh yeah, Oregon doesn't. No. Yeah, no thanks.
Go back down. Let's see what.
So I'm saying Oregon lower. I'm saying Oklahoma lower, and I'm saying.
Cincinnati shouldn't be on this list, man. They
Baylor
lost way
lower.
too much.
They lost Desmond Ritter.
They shouldn't be on this list.
That's it, isn't it?
I think Oklahoma State's in a good spot.
Where are they at? I didn't see them.
They are 12.
12?
I'm
Oklahoma
fine
State
with that.
12, yeah.
They're
They're
I
below
could stick with
Oregon.
12.
I don't know if I'd have them below Oregon, but I mean that's about right if I were to shuffle those around a little bit.
Yeah, I'm saying lower for Oregon.
Michigan State's
Oklahoma
too
State's
low
about
for
right.
me, man. I'd have Michigan State somewhere. I wouldn't say top 10, but a little bit higher up, maybe around 12.
Yeah,
Like
and next week we'll kind of hit on the Big Ten more and talk about higher and lowers there and kind of see what we think. But so are we agreeing that we think Utah should be higher?
I agree. Yeah.
Are we agree? What about Oklahoma? About right, higher or lower?
I'm fine with Oklahoma where they're at.
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying
don't
lower.
Oklahoma.
Baylor, I'm saying higher. What do you say about Baylor?
I think they're fine right there. The most part, when I look at this list, other than Notre Dame, that's the only one and Oregon. Notre Dame and Oregon need to be lower. Other than that, I'm okay with this list, all the way from 1 to 25.
Well, in Joshua Sweat says Utah should be top 5. Full agreement. Baylor should be top 7. I completely agree too. And Oklahoma should be borderline top 15. Completely agree.
I would switch Notre Dame with Baylor. Notre Dame would go to 10. Baylor would go to 7, and I'd put Utah at 5. That would be how I'd shuffle those around.
Well, all right.
I'm good with that too.
Yeah. So that's it. We got, so pretty much just to sum it up, he's got Oklahoma winning the Big 12. I have Baylor. We both agree that Utah's going to run the table.
Yeah.
And I think Tyler agrees Utah's going to run the table too.
Yeah.
Tyler, who'd you pick for the Big 12 again?
I'm the same. You guys.
Baylor?
Yeah, Baylor, and then let's see. Hold on, let me make sure.
I'm the only one. I'm the lone person who took Oklahoma.
Yeah, Baylor. Yeah, Baylor for the Big 12, and then for the Pac-12, I also have. I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, Utah as well.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us for the All Talk Conference. We'll see you next week where we'll talk about the Big Ten. The Big Ten's going to be interesting because we have a lot of disagreements.
Texas forever.
Horns down.
See you guys.